Hi, it's Ileana. Today I'm going to discuss things that have to do with safety, protection, and making sure that I do my due diligence when I do any types of shows, interviews, presentations. When I invite people on my shows, I do a basic search check on the internet for the person's first name and last name to make sure this is a real person, a legitimate person. If they're an author, a writer, a teacher, a talk show host of their own with a show, just to learn some information about them. Usually, when people write to me asking to come on shows or to be interviewed or for me to come on their shows, they include a little bio about themselves, who they are, what they would like me to discuss with them, and we do a little chat together to get to know each other before going on a show, or I may ask them some questions in the email. I just like to make sure that I'm able to fully check the person, to vet them, to make sure they are who they say they are, that they're a good person, they're a safe person to have on my show, that there's protection, that I'm bringing on a decent, kind person that is who they say they are. So, doing some light background checking and vetting, I think, is important so that whoever is entering your space, your zone, that they're safe to do so. Whatever you do, whether you do shows, whether you do presentations, whether you're a public speaker, whether you go on somebody else's show or you host your own, please check to see who you're going to be working with. That it is a legitimate person or group or organization that you're connecting with for your own safety and the safety of your audiences, your guests, whoever you're interacting with, that this is for the highest good and a positive experience for everyone involved. Just so you have some peace of mind that you're getting a credible person coming on your shows, interacting with you, that they're being truthful and honest in who they are and what they represent. Because everyone is being held accountable right now for truth and honesty. This is what's being asked for. And there are places like Truth Finder where they can even do a basic search for you of who the person is, if they've had any priors, if they've had any records, convictions. It does have a subscription fee, but it's been known to be accurate, that they have a database that it tells you the person's name, background history, who they are, what they've done, and if they have any criminal records, priors, or anything in their past. Because you want to make sure there's no red flags being raised for whoever you're connecting with. Just peace of mind, reassurance. I do a basic check of the person. I do an internet search. And I also connect intuitively to the person's soul to see what I see in their soul record on a psychic level. So I do a little extra work because I want to know who the person is on a soul field essence, what their soul record tells me about them. So I take that as a psychic, I take it to the next level. And sometimes I may discover things about the person that is not appropriate to have somebody on the show. And then I'm very polite and I just say thank you so much for the request or whatever to be on the show or to go on another person's show. And I'm just polite in why I can't do it or why I can do it if things check out. and work out. And I like to collaborate with people, and I like to get to know new people and connect with the people I've been working with already in the past to have a positive experience on shows as a show host and as a guest on other people's shows. I like to do roundtables and collaborative type of connections. I want to make sure it's done safely, that it's done right, and that everyone feels respected, protected in a safe environment in any type of work that I do or anything I facilitate on my shows or elsewhere. I want everybody to feel comfortable, to be safe, and for the audience to get a good experience. That whoever I am dealing with is legit and that they're genuine and honest and truthful, because that is important to me. Credibility, just making sure that I do my due diligence in my responsibility of who I host and who I interact with, that my audience interacts with as well because of what I do in the public. Safety first, always, respect, honesty, due diligence. I put in the work. And I also do the soul work to check the person out on the soul level, like I said before. That's something else that I do with my ability, and it's something that I will always continue to do because I feel responsible. I feel it's a good precautionary step just to make sure everything is on the up and up and everything is done right and correctly. So somebody does not end up on my show who has done questionable things or been in situations that, are inappropriate for a show. Just to make sure that nobody is exposed to anything that they shouldn't be on a show, including the host, the audience, the person on the show as a guest as well, just to make sure that everything is compatible for a good, safe experience on the show. And there's tools like Truth Finder and other databases that can help you to do a decent background check on someone or someone's. If you need clarification and information, there's other databases that someone can find to get a background check on another person if they need it. Just so you're making sure you're safe and comfortable and that you're providing a good experience, whatever you do. If you're hosting a show, if you're collaborating with someone on a special project, just make sure that you feel good and comfortable with them. Check in with your own intuition, what you're feeling and sensing about the person, because that's also important. Your gut instinct will often tell you what you're picking up information on the other person through their energy and their soul vibration. So trust your gut as well. Trust your instincts, trust your intuitive abilities, because that can tell you a lot about a person, who they are, what their behavior is, how they present themselves, and what information they're presenting, what they're putting out there into the world, that they're sharing with you and others, because that's important too. The first impressions that we might get on someone or something usually can be spot on, because those impressions, they give us information about the person, what the person vibrates, what the person energetically carries inside their soul, and it's their soul record. You might be picking up information from their soul field about exactly who this person is, what they're doing, why. And I think it's important to trust first impressions. And if you're not sure, there's always second and third impressions, getting to know the person, connecting to them on a closer level to make sure that you feel comfortable with them, whatever you do. Exploring the depth of the person, who the person is, what they stand for, what they're communicating to us, what they're sharing with us on every level of their existence. I think that helps to create a baseline connection and for us to understand people better by these impressions. It could be psychic impressions, it could be intuitive impressions, it could just be what you're sensing just by your first impression, what you're getting the vibe from this person or people or groups, organizations. Those vibes tell you a story. And I think paying attention to that story and that information helps us to better understand the people, the organizations, and to trust our instincts in what we're receiving as information, both physical body language information and the personality information and the energetic information we pick up from these people, groups, or organizations. Trust that. Don't doubt yourself. Trust in the information. If you're getting something, follow up on it. Check it out. Do some thorough research. Do an investigation if you need to. But be sure that you're trusting the knowledge. Check it out. Follow up on it if you need to, because it can help you to determine what is going on and why you're getting those impressions in the first place by doing that research and doing the due diligence in the vetting process, in the research process, and how you deal with people and how people deal with you. It should be with respect. It should be with understanding and patience. Just doing that follow-up work if you need to. What is our level of interaction with each other and others? Do we really know somebody? Are we connecting on the right levels? What are we learning about the person or people? What is the information coming in? What's the messaging? And what is it telling us that we need to know about those people? And perhaps even ourselves coming from these interactions. What's the important parts that we need to know about? And what are these connections creating going forward with projects, with shows, with other work that we're doing? How does it help us? And if it doesn't help us, also look into that just to know perhaps maybe it's not the best fit to do a show with somebody because of values, ideas, information, or even something that comes back on the person's, check on them, because compatibility is also comes into factors when we're interacting with others and why we do it. Are we compatible? Do we share similar ideas, goals? Is our reality similar? Is the energetics and the vibration good to do projects together? I think that's worth exploring as well. How compatible are we? And can we work well together? And if we can, great, then go and do the work. And if you can't, that's okay as well. Explore why, because it can help you figure out who you work with the best and why not. It's good to know that information as well. Thank you so much, and namaste.